This video is about the power of a 55% win rate in the stock market. Now, on the surface, a 55% win rate may not sound very high. It sounds like it's just barely above break even. But this video will demonstrate that depending on the win and loss size for each trade, a 55% win rate can be quite lucrative over time. Any discussion about win rates isn't complete unless you're talking also about the size of the wins and the losses. You might hear someone tout a 90% win rate, and that sounds great, but what exactly are the size of the wins and the losses? Because ultimately, that's what's going to determine the profitability, is you add it all up together, and what's the bottom line? Is there profit at the bottom or not? So I have a simple Excel worksheet here, a spreadsheet, to demonstrate, and I have an example right here. So imagine that you have a starting balance of $10,000, and imagine the win size for your profitable trades is 2% of your balance. So that would be $200. So just imagine that every time you have a profitable trade, you make $200 of profit. And on the losses, it's the exact same amount, but it's a loss instead of a profit. And now imagine that you win 55% of the time. So 55% of the time you make $200, or 2% specifically of your balance, and 45% of the time you lose 2%. So this cell right here shows the average win in dollars, and it shows here the calculation. So 55% of the time you earn $200, assuming that the balance is $10,000, and 45% of the time you lose $200. And so what that means is that on average, with each trade, you make $20 per trade, assuming an account size of $10,000. And so now this down here just shows, well, what does that look like over time as far as profitability goes? Making $20 on a trade may not sound like much if you have a $10,000 account balance, but let's see what the impact is. And you can see here on this tab, I say 250 trades. There's 250 trading days in a year, and I was simulating here, what if you could take one trade per day and average this amount of profit based on these characteristics, starting with $10,000. You'll notice I have two different columns here. I have one with no compounding. So this means that each time you're just basically doing the same position size. You're never changing your position size. Your profit and loss will always be either positive 200 or negative 200. With compounding, your position size is growing. And so these ratios right here get maintained. And so as the balance goes higher, so do your profit and loss values. So you can see here, on the trade profit side, it's just 20 per trade. Over here, it starts to be a little bit higher as the account balance grows with compounding. And let's just get to the answer here so you guys can see. At the bottom, after you do an average of one trade per day, it shows that even without compounding, a 55% win rate with equal amounts for the profit and the loss generates a 50% return on your account. And with compounding, that return is 65%. So it just shows that a 55% win rate, given an equal profit and loss amount, actually can be quite powerful. With more time comes even more profit potential. I also simulated here 500 trades. If you could take 2 trades per day with this same setup, these same ratios and outcomes, what would that look like? And the numbers are even higher. For the non-compounding, it would be a 100% return on your account. And with the compounding, things start to get pretty exciting, I guess, once you get to this sort of volume, because the compounding really causes things to take off there. Anyway, that I hope demonstrates that 55% win rate can be a really solid edge when it comes to trading in the stock market, and it can generate substantial returns over time. So that was just an example. This doesn't mean that you need to set up your trades in this specific way, like where the size of your wins will be equal to the size of your losses, or where you take exactly 250 trades a year or anything like that. It's just an example that shows that a 55% win rate, given the right conditions, can actually be a lucrative edge in the stock market. If you have any questions about win rates, about compounding, or just about anything related to the stock market, you can reach out to us anytime. Our email address is support@stockmarketguides.com.